on the shoulders of giants, how the law must exist for those who have the very least. How is it, Mr. Speaker, that the Philippines, an archipelago of 7,541 islands, surrounded by rich marine resources, is acknowledged as the center of the marine biodiversity in the world, and yet Filipino fisherfolk and our coastal communities, especially in Mindanao, where I come from, and the Visayas, remain as the most food and nutritionally insecure sector of our country. Mr. Speaker, the marine wealth which the state is duty-bound to protect under our Constitution and the strong laws this august body and the Senate have passed have sadly not cascaded to benefit them. I rise today with a sense of urgency, heeding the voices and pleas of our brothers and sisters, shocked and angry at the news that the Supreme Court First Division has issued a resolution that upheld a decision of the Regional Trial Court of Malabon, allowing, Mr. Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, allowing commercial fishing inside the 15-kilometer municipal fishing zone reserved for our artisanal fisherfolk. In a December 11, 2023, just last month, the Malabon RTC Branch 170 ruled that certain provisions of Republic Act 8550, the Fisheries Code of 1998, as amended, and its IRR are unconstitutional. This is the ruling of the Malabon RTC in December 2023. The specific provisions of RA 8550 declared unconstitutional by the Malabon RTC are Section 4, Paragraph 58, Section 16, and Section 18. The court basically ruled that the Constitution does not allow Congress nor the executive agencies to limit the utilization of marine and fishing resources exclusively to subsistence fishermen, to the exclusion of big, large commercial fishing operators. The RTC also stated that nowhere in the Constitution does it provide that the LGUs may be authorized to exercise regulatory or prohibitory authority over the exploration, development, and utilization of the nation's marine and fishing resources as part of natural resources. The Malabon RTC also said that with the lack of mandatory absolute language in the law, but merely of giving mere preference to cooperative fish farming, to fisherfolk, or those that cover small-scale utilization of natural resources by Filipino citizens, this court, according to the RTC, is inclined to protect the fishing industry, protect the big fishing companies, and by not disrupting the lifeblood of the fishing operators, such as the petitioner in this case, in Malabon, and ultimately the people in providing them food security. The case, Mr. Speaker, was elevated to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court issued a resolution dated August 19, 2024, last year, denying the petition for review on certiorari for being filed out of time. It's a technicality where the Supreme Court decided. The Supreme Court said that the filing of the instant petition before the court on January 4, 2024, a week after the expiration of the reglementary period, warrants its outright dismissal for being filed out of time. Well, this is the general rule, but so many times the Supreme Court have admitted pleadings even beyond the regulatory period, especially when public interest so requires. The Supreme Court also stated that in any case, the allegations, issues, and arguments adduced in the petition fail to significantly show that the RTC committed any reversible error in the challenge decision and order. Mr. Speaker, equally disconcerting is the Malabon RTC sweeping statement that the authority over such resources is vested and delegated by the Constitution to the concerned national government agency, not with the LGUs. Not only is the social justice provision reserving the municipal waters 15 kilometers from the shore for our small-scale fishers abandoned, the ruling is discarding the constitutional principle of local autonomy for local governments, which we have ensured under the much-lauded Republic Act 7160, the Local Government Code of 1991, which has devolved essential basic services to our local governments, including environmental protection and enforcement of fisheries laws. This devolution is rooted in the fundamental constitutional principle of local autonomy and system of decentralization, which aims to create a more responsive and accountable local government structure, allowing LGUs to become self-reliant communities and effective partners in national development. By granting coastal cities and municipalities jurisdiction over municipal waters, the state ensures that local authorities who are more attuned to the specific needs and conditions of their communities can effectively manage and enforce fisheries laws, protect the environment, promote sustainable use of aquatic resources, and protect the livelihoods of local fisherfolk and their constituents. If the court's decision becomes final and executory, our 2.3 municipal fishers, who the Constitution no less guarantees to have preferential access to municipal waters, will be displaced forever. Local governments will be stripped of their authority, power, and duties over municipal waters, repealing our fisheries code as amended by Republic Act 10654, the Local Government Code, among a host of several national laws. If we let this pass and do not lift a finger, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that our laws are fully implemented and enforced, we cannot imagine the confusion, conflict, and chaos that will happen. When Norian Pagal, a fisherfolk from San Remeo, Cebu, caught wind of the Supreme Court decision, he implored, we have translated this to Tagalog, which is a language, Filipino, accepted by these halls. Paano na kami? Wala kaming nakakayahan magpunta sa malalaking laot dahil sagwan at maliliit na pambot lang gamit namin. Sana makita ng korte at ang pamahalaan na pinapahirapan ninyo kami at unti-unti ninyo kaming pinapatay, pati na rin ang mga pamilya namin. Millions of Filipino fisherfolk and the coastal communities have entrusted us, our House of Representatives and the Senate has entrusted us to safeguard the rights to food, nutrition, and livelihood security. Now, and with this ruling, this is under severe threat. First, let us note that the Constitution under Article 12, Section 7, explicitly provides for the protection of the rights of subsistent fisherfolk to the preferential use of local marine and fishing resources, both inland and offshore. As one of the country's esteemed fisheries scientists, Dr. Wilfredo Campos, declared, There is clear and unequivocal evidence from scientific investigations done since the 1980s that most of our traditional coastal fishing grounds and most of the stocks in them are overfished, many of them for over 40 years, requiring from 40 to 60% reduction from fishing effort levels at the time. This is the 1980s. To attain maximum sustainable yield or the theoretical amount of catches that will still allow fisheries to be sustainable. The details of findings from many of these previous studies are summarized in the book, In Turbulent Seas, the Status of Philippine Marine Fisheries, BFAR 2004. Dr. Campos added that rescinding the 15-kilometer boundary of coastal waters reserved by law for municipal fishers will only increase the number of fish caught from already heavily depleted resources. This directly contradicts the very solution to the problem of overfishing. We allow big commercial fishing fleets to go into this 15-kilometer area. It will in fact make things worse and only speed up the potential collapse of stocks, resulting to irreversible loss of the resource base and loss of livelihood for those commercial and municipal sectors. There are 2 million municipal fishers around the country today. How ready is the state to provide them livelihoods to support their families when further overfishing strips them of their resource base? By opening, Mr. Speaker, by opening the municipal waters to intense fishing pressure by commercial fishing, we have no way of reviving our fish stocks, and this can eventually lead to a collapse. In the ordinary sense, our fishing grounds are already in the emergency room. By subjecting it to more large-scale industrial fishing without no controls can send these to the intensive care unit and eventually death. Second, there are key reform measures under Republic Act 10654 that must continue to be fully implemented. For instance, the fisheries management area now in place is an effective way forward because it provides a science-based, participatory, and transparent mechanism to sustainably manage our fisheries. In addition, vessel monitoring measures where 90% of our commercial fishing vessels have to comply with Republic Act 10654's requirement are proven to be effective enforcement and monitoring tools in ensuring transparency and traceability of fishing vessels to prevent illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. Municipal water zones are not just lines on a map. These are lifelines for millions of people who depend on these waters for sustenance and survival. These waters are sanctuary for artisanal small-scale fishers who don't have the means to compete with advanced technology and large-scale operations of fishing vessels. 2.3 million fisherfolk are affected by this call, 51 of which engage only in capture fisheries. Municipal fisherfolk already have the odds stacked against them. Amidst the physical challenges competing for limited resources, their love for family and the need to provide wins out. Sabi nga po ni Martha Cadano, isang fisherfolk organizer mula sa Northern Samar, kung anong laki ng alon sa dagat ay siya ring haba ng liig ng may bahay na naghihintay sa asawa niyang mangingisda. Laging puno ng kaba tuwing hinihintay siyang bumalik. Galing laot kasi. Sa huli niyang nakasalalay ang pagtustos sa pag-aaral ng mga anak, pambili ng bigas at paggastos sa araw-araw. When municipal fisherfolk lose their livelihood, the entire family and the communities, especially women, who ensure domestic and economic stability, struggle because they are pushed deeper into poverty. This ripple effect compromises food security, economic well-being, and the social fabric of our nation. These experiences are echoed by LGUs such as the municipality of Del Carmen in Surigao, Santa Fe in Cebu, and several others. Recently, the governor of Bohol says they're not going to implement the Supreme Court decision. They are going to protect their fisher folk. That is Governor Omintado of Bohol. In fact, at least 2 petitions have been filed to advocate the right of municipal fishers, and we must listen to their calls. Colleagues, dear colleagues, our Constitution declares the state shall protect the rights of small-scale, artisanal, and municipal fishers. By allowing commercial fishing inside municipal waters, we are failing to uphold this mandate. Let us urge the Supreme Court to reconsider its decision and explore legislative measures to strengthen the legal protections for municipal fishing zones. Cagayan de Oro is a coastal city. It has about 30 kilometers of coastal city, the boundaries of Misamis Oriental. And so we have fisher folks and fishing families near our shores in Cagayan de Oro. So we also would have to assure and ensure local autonomy for local governments. They decide because they are right there. The people, the fisher folk are right there. And so they have to take care of them. This is not merely a matter of policy. It is a moral imperative. By protecting our municipal fisher folk and the decentralization policy under the local government code, we promote social justice, which is the underlying principle of the entire Philippine Constitution. We have to promote social justice, protect livelihoods, and the stability of our institutions. Every decision we make here echoes across the lives of those we serve. We need to look into the Fisheries Code of 1998, Mr. Speaker, and amend the same. And this is now what we propose. Let us amend that to give and grant exclusive rights to duly registered fisherfolk organizations and cooperatives, and not merely a preference in the Fisheries Code. If we are unable to do this for our fellow Filipinos of the least in life, then what do we have to show for as legislators? Are we able to truthfully claim that we use the law as our most powerful tool to empower the very people who voted us into power? I leave you with this question, my esteemed colleagues, and hope that in good conscience we answer in the affirmative. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.